Good morning, everyone, and what a stacked pack. Holy crap. Okay, Mascot Exhibition, I can play in any deck. Mavinda I really want to take because it synergizes with Rise of Extus. And I think in Limited he's actually more powerful, especially in the Silver Quill deck. But how often do you get to cast Mascot Exhibition, right? Oh, what do we take here? Double Mythic pack. I think I've got to go Mavinda, because if in the Silver Quill deck, he's reasonably costed, and like if I get a Defiant Strike, it's just going to be card advantage City. Mascot Exhibition's great, and I can play it in any deck, but I actually think Mavinda is the play here. Alright. Mavinda. Swords to Plowshares? That's definitely a combo with Mavinda, right? Oh, creature you control. Okay, so he's a bit worse. He's still good, though, and Swords is incredible. So we're definitely taking Swords. Okay, pack 3. What are we dealing with here? Thunderous Orator seems good. He'll gain flying off of Mavinda, and in theory gain other stuff. He's an uncommon. I feel a little bit bad about not taking Mascot Exhibition, but I honestly think that this deck is going to be better. We just need, like, a Defiant Strike. So he doesn't synergize with Rise of Extus unless I can pay 14 mana. That spell doesn't target a creature you control. It costs 8 more to cast the way. Okay. In this pack, there's Essence Infusion, which synergizes with Mavinda. There's also Flame Scroll Celebrant, which... I have to kind of pick between Silver Quill and Lorehold. I think Silver Quill is better. Eye Twitch, I don't think is the card for us. I think I take Essence Infusion here. Cram Session is also reasonable. Alright, I'll speculate on the Flame Scroll Celebrant, because it is a pretty powerful rare. Who knows, maybe we just draft mono rares, right? Okay, I like Star Pupil, Frostboil Snarl, we're probably not playing white. Enthusiastic Study, we can flashback and learn again, and it is in our colors. Star Pupil, I think it might be better, though, because either of these decks, we do want to get on the board early, and the text on this card is non-zero. So, I'm going to take Star Pupil. Okay. We have Academic Dispute, which we can target our own creature with. It's just the last time we tried to play this, it was kind of bugged. Beaming Defiance, which is not bad at all. And an Elemental Summoning. Although Elemental Summoning only works if we are playing the red-white deck, which so far I guess I have no reason not to be. Beaming Defiance is the best spell to buy back, because it's the best by itself. So I think I take Beaming Defiance here. Like, the 1-mana Learn is quite powerful, but I think blanking my opponent's removal is better. Expanded Anatomy is an amazing lesson. I'm missing out on Leech Fanatic, Relic Sloth, Pilgrim. Yeah, we're taking Expanded Anatomy. Croson Grip, I don't think is playable in this deck. Enthusiastic Study we can play if we're going red. Or I can take Professor's Warning or Pest Summoning. We have one lesson right now. Professor's Warning is definitely better with Mavinda, but generally wheels a lot harder. I'll start taking the red cards, and we'll see what black cards come around, if any, or black-white cards. Spiteful Squad's great. Arrogant Poet is also good. Necrotic Fumes I've not actually played with, but my gut instinct is this is decent, especially in the black decks because of the pests you can generate. I don't think we're playing Archway Commons. The Death Touch is nice. Arrogant Poet is a little bit more aggressive, but I think I would like at least a little bit of top end here. Okay, so red is open. Red is more open than black-white. Academic Dispute we can use as card advantage off of Mavinda, and offensively if we want a particular creature to block. We have more cards in red right now anyway. Spiteful Squad's so good, though. I want to take Academic Dispute. Yes, I missed out on the 5-mana, 5-damage Trample Over. Exhilarating Elocution or Blood Age General. Do we have any spirits yet? I don't think we do. I'll take the Blood Age General just because it's another bear for now. Stonerise Spirit is fine. It also synergizes with Blood Age General. Another Enthusiastic Study. Stormkiln Artist, nobody respected. And we'll take a Relic Sloth. Okay, so we're probably not playing black. We're probably in red-white. Pack 2, what do we got? Multiple Choice. I think this card is excellent and limited. There's a Rip Apart, which is pretty great removal / all-around utility. Otherwise, there's a Team Pennant, an Introduction to Prophecy, or Pillar Drop Warden. I think we gotta take Rip Apart. Being in red-white and actually being able to cast this card seems good. Infuriate might wheel. It's also not the greatest combat trick, even if we can buy it back. Okay, another Rip Apart. I'm missing out on basic Conjuration. Oh, I gotta take Rip Apart. This card is too good to pass. It does so much. Guiding Voice is exactly the card we want in this deck, though. So I definitely need to keep an eye open for those, but I can't pass removal this good. Okay, Environmental Sciences is a good lesson to have access to pretty much no matter what deck you're playing. Tome Shredder's not bad. I think we take the lesson here. I only have a couple of learn cards. We only have one lesson so far. I'll take Environmental Sciences. It's not the best in this deck, but just getting any card advantage is good. Inkling Summoning is pretty good here. We can cast it for the white mana cost. Otherwise, we can take a Pigment Storm. How much removal do I have? I have 2 Rip Aparts and a Swords to Plowshares. I always forget about the Swords to Plowshares. I think we go Pigment Storm, actually. It's a bigger removal spell in a way. Okay, Faithless Looting is not bad. Study Break. Study Break we could flashback with Mavinda for 2 by tapping one of our own creatures and learning. Expanded Anatomy is really strong. I'm not missing out on any creatures, really. Faithless Looting seems good, especially in the red deck, to just dig through our deck, but I don't think we need to do that. I think I would rather have the Expanded Anatomy. So I'll take that, put it in the sideboard. Okay, in this pack there's a Duress, Mascot Interception, Elemental Summoning, First Day of Class, Make Your Mark. Make Your Mark is exactly the kind of spell we want in this deck. The problem is, it's a common and it tends to go late. So I think we take Elemental Summoning, just to have like the ability to cast a big creature. We don't really have any learn spells that curve into it, though. But I think that's fine. Ouch. Sorry, I just rammed my desk with my knee. Chaos Warp. While that is a good card, I don't think it fits in this deck. I don't think I would take a 3rd Enthusiastic Study, not when we're this light on creatures. So I'm going to go with Stonebound Mentor, even though we don't have a lot that synergizes with that specifically. Do we have anything that removes cards from our graveyard? We have Stonerise Spirit and Mavinda. So we take Quintorius, because Mavinda picking up cards out of our grave does count for removing cards from our graveyard. So Quintorius actually seems like it could be a pretty good payoff. Prismari Pledge Mage actually might be playable in this deck. Just a 2-mana 3/3 that attacks as long as we cast it on a creature seems good. I already have a Relic Sloth, and I don't think I'd ever play 2. So the question is, do I take Prismari Pledge Mage or do I take Infuriate? We have no double strikers, so Infuriate is not as important, but it is very cheap to buy back. I'm going to go with the Infuriate, because in theory I will see less of them than the other cards. I'm not playing any of these cards, but if I am, it's probably Arrogant Poet. Let's put that in the sideboard. Tome Shredder does synergize with our Stonebound Mentor, as well as Quintorius, so I'm going to take Tome Shredder. Campus Guide is a creature that can fix for us if we need it. We may not need it, but I'll still take it. Illustrious Historian can get itself out of the grave, as well as just be aggressive, and we probably need more dudes. First Day of Class seems like it could be okay, especially with Quintorius. 3rd Enthusiastic Study wheeled all the way around. Okay. Approach of the Second Sun. Oh, man. Oh, I'd love to play Approach of the Second Sun, but it's not playable, especially not in a deck this freaking fast. See, Venerable War Singer. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may turn a creature card X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of damage dealt to that player. That seems pretty good, and it's in our colors. Missing out on a lesson, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. Yeah, we'll take War Singer. Professor of Symbology is exactly the kind of card I want in this deck. I do want to get a Spirit Summoning this pack if I can, because curving this into Spirit Summoning is pretty good card advantage. We can take lessons a lot more highly, because we do have a lot of learn cards now. Alright, in this pack, there's a Dream Strix, another Elemental Summoning, another Star Pupil, or a Twin Scroll Shaman. I think I take the Double Striker because we have 3 Enthusiastic Studies, and if I'm playing even 2 of them, having a Double Strike is going to be great. Missing Zephyr Boots and Star Pupil if I do, but I'll take the Shaman. Okay, in this pack, I'm not taking a 4th Enthusiastic Study. I don't think I take another Environmental Artist, because I have Environmental Sciences, because I have no Magecraft at all. Well, I guess I have Stormkiln Artist. Could take Team Pennant. We don't make that many tokens. It wants me to take Fuming Effigy. I guess I am kind of light in the 4-drop slot. And this does potentially grant me a little bit of reach. So I'll take Fuming Effigy. Alright, in this pack there's a Divine Gambit, Heated Debate, Defend the Campus. I'm going to take Heated Debate because I think it's slightly better than Defend the Campus. All right, Introduction to Prophecy I think is fine. Sudden Breakthrough is probably not bad. Synergizes with the Stormkiln Artist. But let's take the Prophecy and stick it in the sideboard. A third Rip Apart. Yeah, I think this card's great. I'm going to take it. Make Your Mark came all the way around. There's also a Introduction to Annihilation. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lessons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 learn spells potentially. Yeah, I'm going to take Make Your Mark. I don't think I take Mascot Interception. Do I have any blue cards? No. I guess I take the Campus. Maybe I play it as a Scryland. We'll see. Show of Confidence potentially is very good, especially with Mavinda. Yeah, I'm going to take Show of Confidence. Ageless Guardian or another Elemental Summoning. I think I'd rather have the extra Summoning. Stormkiln Artist again. I'm not playing a 4th Enthusiastic Study. I don't think I can. Ogiar Battleseer, sure. Sudden Breakthrough or another Blood Age General. I'll take Sudden Breakthrough. And an Excavated Wall. So, I mean, the deck I drafted ended up getting pretty deep. So the question is, what am I playing? What am I not playing? First day of class. Do we have a way to make a lot of creatures all at once? I would have if I'd taken Mascot Exhibition, but I would have been playing a very different deck. I don't think I'm playing Relic Sloth, and I don't think I'm playing Campus Guide. Probably only playing 2 Enthusiastic Studies, probably not playing First Day of Class. Infuriate's kind of questionable. I know it's really good with Mavinda, but I think Make Your Mark is actually better. I don't really need Sudden Breakthrough, and I don't really want to cut any more of the spells that can target my own creatures. Like, even if we only get to use him once, he's going to be great value. So I guess I have to cut some number of creatures. Hang on, do I have anything that counts as a creature that's a non-creature spell? No, I don't have anything that makes tokens. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 excellent... 6 pieces of excellent removal. How many spirits do we have? Potentially a few. With Stormkiln Artists, I might actually be able to buy back removal with Mavinda. There's a slim chance. It's not very likely at all, but it is possible. I think I'm going to cut Blood Age General. Show of Confidence. Our only Magecraft is Stormkiln Artist. Yeah, so we may not actually need Show of Confidence. Like, the upside, potential upside is huge, right? But I think on average it's just going to be 1/1 in Vigilance, maybe? Maybe not. If I had more of the lessons that made creatures, I could see cutting a couple more creatures. I think I'm going to cut Show of Confidence. I think the Hexproof on Beaming Defiance is going to be better. Pigment Storm might cost too much. We do have 5 excellent pieces of removal. I can bring this in if my opponent is playing... Yeah. I'm going to cut Pigment Storm. And then... What is the worst creature in my deck? I don't think it's Star Pupil because I think getting on to the field turn 1 is kind of important. Also, it gives us something we can stack our Expanded Anatomy 1/1 counters on. You know, when it dies, we can move the counter somewhere else. I'm going to cut Fuming Effigy. I think the Stormkiln Artist is going to be better, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Alright, we've got a weird deck, that's to be sure. 8 and 8 seems fine. Alright, let's see what happens. I'll see you guys in round 1. Alright, I wouldn't really call this a curve, but I think it's actually going to be good. We're going to keep. Opponent is on the play, and they lead on Swamp. We draw Quintorius, play a Plains, pass the turn. Opponent untaps, plays a Forest. Draw Stormkiln Artist, play Professor of Symbology. Do we take Expanded Anatomy or an Elemental Summoning? I think we take Expanded Anatomy. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Forest. They play a Reckless Amplimancer. We draw Plains. Play a Mountain. Go to combat. Attack for 2. I think they might have the Lash spell. Okay, they're willing to trade. So I either make your mark... Yeah, let's make our mark here. I should have taken the trade. They gain Indestructible. Well, at least we get a creature out of this. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They go to combat. They attack. So they probably have a Deadly Brew with that sort of attack. Arrogant Poet. Okay. We untap. We draw planes. Play a planes. Play Stormkiln Artist. Pass the turn. No attacks. Opponent attacks for 4. They do not pay life. Okay, I don't want to trade. Then they play a Promising Dusk Mage. We untap and draw Beaming Defiance. Play a planes. Expanded Anatomy, the Stormkiln Artist. Go to combat. Attack them for 5. Opponent does not block. Okay, pass the turn. They untap. Play a land. Mage Hunter's Onslaught. So we Beaming Defiance. Give it hexproof. Make a treasure. Make it absolutely huge. Okay. We blank their removal. Then they pass. We untap. Draw Mavinda. Oh, that's good. Let's see. Play a mountain. We have 8 mana. Make Your Mark is free this turn if we want it. Alternatively, I can Expanded Anatomy from the grave. I could play Quintorius for 5. Yeah, let's play Mavinda. Go to combat. Attack for 3. Okay, opponent wants to trade. So let's go ahead and cast Make Your Mark here. Get a treasure. Kill their guy. Get another spirit. Now we have Beaming Defiance on our opponent's turn as well. They play Master Symmetrist. Okay. Then they pass. We untap. Draw Stonerise Spirit. Play Quintorius. Buy back Expanded Anatomy. Cast it on Mavinda. Opponent scoops. They cannot beat the value. Oh, it's so good. This is a super awesome deck. Yeah, I'm just gonna run it back. Stormkiln Artist, OP when you're casting this many spells. Alright, I think this is fine. It's not amazing. But we have plays for the first couple of turns, which is what matters. Opponent leads on Swamp. We draw a second Rip Apart. Play a Plains. Yeah. I'm just gonna pass. I don't want them to just immediately lash the pupil here. I want them to at least think that I have a combat trick. We draw Quintorius. Play a Mountain. Play Star Pupil. It's important to remember that Rip Apart is not a Braid, and Rip Apart is in fact a sorcery speed spell. Okay. Opponent untaps. They play a Swamp. We untap. Play a Mountain. Go to combat. Attack them for 1. Pass the turn. 2 mana. Opponent plays Arrogant Poet. This is fine. We untap. Draw Swords to Plowshares. So let's rip Arrogant Poet apart. Go to combat. Hit them for 1. I technically missed a damage by not playing him on turn 1, so hopefully that's not relevant. Opponent untaps. They play a Forest. They have a Reckless Amplimancer. Okay. So Academic Dispute on the end step. We will use its ability, and we're going to get Expanded Anatomy. Untap. We draw a plane. Play a plane. Expanded Anatomy. Go to combat. Attack for 3. No blocks for the opponent. Do we use our other Rip Apart? I think we do. Rip Apart. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Mage Hunter's Onslaught, no value. We untap. Draw a Mountain. Play a Mountain. Play Quintorius. Leave up Swords. Pass the turn. Hoping we draw a Tome Shredder or a Stonerise Spirit or Mavinda. All of those would be pretty good. Opponent plays a land. Rise of Extus. Alright. That feels pretty bad. Card's so good. Couldn't even Swords my own guy to blank the Learn. We untap. Draw Tome Shredder. And it would have been good. It would have been so good here. Play Tome Shredder. Pass the turn. I'm going to put a counter on it now to dodge the Lash spell, because I'm pretty sure we saw that. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They cannot cast Fractal Summoning because they don't have 2 green. They Mortality Spear Tome Shredder, which is not something we could really play around. We untap. Draw planes. Play planes. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play Mage Hunter. Then they pass. We untap. We draw Stonebound Mentor. Play Stonebound Mentor. Pass the turn. I think if my opponent invests mana on Access Tunnel this turn, I'm going to Swords. They play a Forest, so they're probably just going to make a huge Fractal. Yep, X5. They go to combat. They don't attack. I'm going to do this now because there is some chance that they have, like, Snakeskin Veil, and I do want to get rid of a 5/5. Opponent gains a bunch of life. We untap. We draw. Planes. Pass the turn. Come on, Mavinda. We need you, now more than ever. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks for 3. No blocks. Take 3, go to 16. I also wouldn't mind an Enthusiastic Study here. Master Symmetrist. And Leech Fanatic. We untap. We draw Rip Apart. So Rip Apart to kill Leech Fanatic. Let's Rip Apart number 3. Problem is we're taking so much damage. And we can't even attack. Opponent untaps. They draw. They play Pestilent Cauldron, which I think is pretty good. They hit us for 7. This is actually Grave Hate, so that kind of hurts us a lot. Yeah, they can do that at instant speed, too. Alright, on to game 3. Yeah, we just took too long to do anything. Didn't have any of our power. Or if we did, it immediately got answered. Let's run it back. We gotta remember they have that Cauldron. We might need to use Rip Apart to actually destroy it. I would like to play first. I think this is fine. We do need to draw red mana, but if we do, we're... Well, actually, we have Environmental Sciences, which we can get off of Professor of Symbology, so... I think we're set. It's a little bit slow if we have to do that, but, like, we will get somewhere. Opponent mulligan. Play a Plains, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Forest, and pass. We draw Mountain. Perfect. Play a Mountain. Play the Professor. Let's go and get... I think it's still Expanded Anatomy. Pass the turn. This really, really helps in aggro matchups. Just, like, making a dude bigger than their dudes, and then giving it Vigilance, so, like, you can still have it to block. Opponent plays Reckless Amplimancer. We draw Enthusiastic Study. Play a Plains. I'm gonna go with the Expanded Anatomy here. Go to combat. Attack for 4. Opponent takes 4 and goes to 16. We pass. They untap. They play Access Tunnel. They don't attack. We untap. We draw Make Your Mark. That's somewhat of a big deal. Go to combat. Attack for 4. Opponent chumps. Infuse with Vitality. Target creature gains Death Touch. And when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped. So we're going to kill it. So they do not get that value, and we get to keep our creature. They don't gain any life either. Because unlike Rise of Extus, all of its legal targets have been countered. Or removed, so the spell is countered. Okay, opponent plays an X4 like a jerk. We untap and draw Stonerise Spirit. Go to combat. Attack for 4. See if they block. If they do, we Enthusiastic Study. Okay? Enthusiastic Study. We lose a life. But we do get to trample over here, and I'm going to take Environmental Sciences so we can get a land. Opponent takes 3. They lose their only guy. Opponent untaps. They play a land. They play Pestilent Cauldron. We untap. Draw Venerable Warsinger. So each opponent mills cards equal to the amount of life you gained this turn. Discard a card, make a pest. And exile 4 cards from a grave, draw a card. Okay. So we are going to Environmental Science. Get a Mountain. Play a Mountain. Go to combat. Attack for 4. We don't care if they discard to make a pest and chump. That's fine. Okay. They discard Professor's Warning. They chump. Okay. They gain a life. We play Stonerise Spirit. A little bit of protection from Deadly Brew if they've got it. Opponent untaps. They play a land. Rise of Extus. They get Fractal Summoning. Okay. We untap. Draw Star Pupil. So, what do we do here? We don't have removal we can tutor out of the side, but we can get another Expanded Anatomy. I think we play Star Pupil and a 3-drop here, although Stormkiln Artist does feel real spicy if we could land it. So let's play Tome Shredder and Star Pupil, and we'll Tome Shredder away Environmental Sciences. Then we go to combat, attack for 1, opponent untaps, big Fractal Summoning it looks like. Yep. Okay. We untap, draw Rip Apart. I think we gotta Rip Apart and destroy that Cauldron. We can make this block the Tome Shredder, and then Make Your Mark the Tome Shredder. Is that worth it? Is it better to just attack for 1? I think it's better to keep their board clear. So let's go ahead and say the Fractal has to block. We'll take Expanded Anatomy. Go to combat. I gave this reach. Okay, I can't attack with the Stonerise Spirit. That was almost disastrous. I forgot that when I was testing this before with Academic Dispute, if you don't have it gain reach, it doesn't let you learn for some reason, which I think is a bug, but who knows. Okay, Mega Spirit. Now we have 3 creatures, and they're top decking. Pass the turn. I'm so glad I did not walk into that. That would have been super, super bad. If Venerable Warsinger ever connects for the full 3, we can get back Tome Shredder too. Or we can even make it more by Expanded Anatomy. Opponent plays Lizette. We untap. Draw a mountain. Play the mountain. This doesn't have reach, does it? Nope. Okay. Go to combat. Attack for 1 in the air. Okay. Opponent goes down to 12. Play Venerable Warsinger. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. And scoops. They cannot beat the value. Whew! That was pretty brutal. I'll see you guys in round 2. Alright, we get to be on the play for round 2. And if we had 2 lands, this hand would be great. In fact, I'm still tempted to keep it, but I think I need to mulligan. Alright, this is a lot worse, but we'll make do. Put back a plains. Alright, play mountain, pass the turn. Opponent untaps, they play a swamp. Duress us. So they take Enthusiastic Study, which is a lot like taking 2 cards at once. That's pretty good. They also know that we have nothing. We draw a mountain, play a plains, pass the turn. Gotta be careful not to show them this mountain. Can't let them know what we drew. Opponent plays a swamp, hunts for specimens. They learn Ditching Excavated Wall. Interesting, they did not learn a lesson. Play a plains, play Twin Scroll Shaman. Come on! Cards that aren't lands, let's go. Opponent plays a 3rd swamp. I think they're digging to try and find their other color of mana, perhaps? Okay. They make us sack our only creature. Feels pretty bad. Hit us for 1. We untap. Draw Stormkiln Artist. Play Stormkiln Artist. Our 2 cards in hand are unknowns to them now. Pass the turn. They untap. They pass. We draw Mountain. I'm not going to attack into this. They play a Forest. That's bad. They were waiting on other mana. They play a Mage Hunter, and now we can't attack. We draw Swords. Play a Mountain. Swords to Plowshares. We lose a life. We get a treasure. We get rid of the Mage Hunter, and then we attack for 3. Okay, opponent takes 3, goes to 20. They untap. I would really like to get some of our learn spells. They have Mortality Spear. We lose our guy. They hit us for 1. We untap. Draw plains. Play a plains. Pass the turn. Hey, we're almost to paying for Mavinda on swords. Well, the good news is it doesn't appear like our opponent's doing that much. Never mind. They have a Damogoth Woe Eater. Play a mountain. Play Mavinda. I can flashback Enthusiastic Study immediately, so I think I will be doing that. And then I think I want to cast... I want to get out Elemental Summoning. Alright, pass the turn. This guarantees that we got some value out of that. Opponent likely just sacks the Pest, yeah. Hopefully they don't have more removal. If they don't, we can Swords their big guy. They go to combat. They hit us for 7. We go to 9, then they pass. We untap, draw Stonerise Spirit, go to combat, attack them for 2. So my concern is they have 10 to the Pests, and if they do, we're just screwed. Get rid of the Woe Eater. I suppose I should have done this on their upkeep. Umbral Juke. They make an Inkling? That's a little surprising to me. I suppose... No, that's fine. Alright. Opponent untaps. Wow! We get punished with the Mind Rot? Oh, come on. Good buff spells here. Something to let us generate advantage that isn't a mountain. Pass the turn. Make them think we got something. Oh my gosh. Opponent has had like the answers, and we have drawn nothing but lands all game. Yep, sure, they hit us for 4. Come on, rip apart. We have so many answers. Professor of Symbology. That counts, right? Play the Professor. Get Expanded Anatomy. Cast it on Mavinda. This is his name, right? Mavinda? Yeah. Okay. Flash it back on Mavinda. Go to combat. Hit him for 6 in the air while we're at 3. Alright, pass the turn. They untap. They draw. They play Witherbloom Apprentice, which has to die immediately, otherwise it's going to drain us to death. We untap. We draw Beaming Defiance. Play a mountain. Pass the turn. It's too bad that Beaming Defiance doesn't untap the creature. Opponent untaps, they draw, they play a land. Rise of Extus, and they do take care to exile a card out of their own grave. Beaming Defiance. We can at least keep our guy. We do get drained, though, and Rise of Exodus still allows them to learn. They learn Introduction to Prophecy. They pass. So we're guaranteed to get drained for one more. We really need to draw removal for that apprentice. Illustrious Historian doesn't really count, but we still play it anyway. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. So they can Introduction to Prophecy, drain us to 1, and if that draws them, instant or sorcery, we lose. I don't know why they're playing this when we are this close to dead, but okay. They plus her to 4, then they cast Introduction to Prophecy. Silver Quill Pledge Mage. Okay, that is a bit of a problem. We untap. I'm going to concede, because we're so close to dead. I'm pretty sure my opponent has us next turn, and I don't think it's worth us showing them anything else. Okay, we just need to not keep a hand with 2 cards and get one of them to rest and draw only lands. Let's not do that. And hey, we flash back Mavinda on a removal spell. That's an achievement, I think. Alright, we'll play first. Much better. Not the greatest. Still good. We'll keep. Lead on Plains. Pass the turn. Opponent also kept 7. They play a Swamp. We untap. We draw Enthusiastic Study. Play a Mountain. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Quandrix Campus. Would like a creature I could play. I guess 4th land is fine. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Swamp. Play Witherbloom Apprentice. Well, I guess Swordsing this is fine. Alright. We untap. Draw Twin Scroll Shaman. Play a Mountain. And I think we go with Stormkiln Artist. Pass the turn. It's just the most benefit if we're casting spells next turn. Yeah. Twin Scroll Shaman also gives more benefit if we actually resolve our buff spells on it. I guess I could have played Twin Scroll Shaman and left up Make Your Mark after the fact, but opponent hunts for specimens. We do have to be careful because they are playing the Mind Rot, which means we need to play our most important spells first, because I really suspect we're going to be under pressure after the fact. So let's see if they learn. They learn Pest Summoning. Then they play Bayou Groff. Okay. We untap. Draw Stormkiln Artist. Play Stormkiln Artist. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They hit us for 5. No blocks. Opponent is thinking. They probably just play Pest Summoning though, right? Alright, we untap. Draw Mavinda. Go to combat. Attack for 2. No blocks for the opponent. Then we'll play a Twin Scroll Shaman and pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw. I think if they attack, I'm going to Make Your Mark and block with the Twin Scroll Shaman. Okay, so we chump, but actually trade. Make a treasure. Okay, they infuse with Vitality. So we trade, but they also get their guy back. We get a Spirit. Our opponent gets a Bayou Groff. They play a Forest, and then Pest Summoning. Go blank. They're going to make us discard 2. Why is it always these, like, critical Mind Rots? Because now I have to give up Quintorius, I think, because Mavinda actually represents some recoup of card advantage at some point. Although losing Quintorius is a pretty big deal. We untap. We draw Beaming Defiance. So play Mavinda. Go to combat. Attack them for 6. Pass the turn. They go to 17. They untap. They draw. They go to combat. Attack us for 5. No blocks. We take 5. Go to 10. They play Witherbloom Pledge Mage. Okay. We untap. Draw Plains. Go to combat. Attack here. Okay, no blocks for the opponent. They take 3. Pass the turn. I wanted to attack all out, but they're representing 10 damage, which is lethal. So I have to use Beaming Defiance as a defensive combat trick. Opponent plays a Forest. They play Pest Summoning. They gain some life and get some 1/1s. Gosh, Go Blank really shuts off this deck. Because we don't draw a lot of cards. It tends to hit our important cards. And, yeah. So, Beaming Defiance on the Spirit here. Make a treasure. Then we Beaming Defiance again on the Spirit. Make another treasure. And then we block the Witherbloom Pledge Mage, because it provides consistent value. We take 5, go to 5. Then our opponent plays Kasmina and F6s, not using her for anything. So play Plains. What can we get out of our sideboard? It's probably Expanded Anatomy. So play Professor of Symbology. We learn. Get Expanded Anatomy. Play it on Mavinda. Make a treasure. We can flash it back and make a relatively decently sized Stormkiln Artist as well. We get a 1 mana refund, go to combat, kill Kasmina, attack our opponent, keep the other guys back for blocking. Okay, we take our opponent to 9, they untap. I'm playing a little bit safe. Maybe I needed to attack with the Spirit there, but I really didn't want to have to deal with a removal spell. Okay, so opponent has a Daemogoth Woe Eater. They attack us for 5. So I think what I do is double block like this. We untap. We draw Venerable Warsinger. So go to combat. Hit our opponent for 4 in the air. Take them to 5. Then we play the Warsinger, which has Trample. Pass the turn. If they sack a Pest and attack with the Woe Eater, we block with Stormkiln Artist. They gain a life and go to 6. We are representing lethal if they have no creatures and no removal. They play a land, that's a good sign. They don't attack. We untap. Draw planes. Go to combat. Hit them for 4 in the air. They go to 2. This does not deal damage to us, but it does force us to discard. So I'll leave the planes in hand just to maybe incentivize them to sack the Woe Eater to itself. They go scrying. They untap. They got a sack. They sack the Pest. They gain a life. They go to 3. They draw. Is it enough? They duress our hand to see nothing. I don't think Fog is in the Mystical Archive, right? That would be just my luck. But I don't think it is. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks for 7. So we block. Even if they have the Trample cantrip, this should be fine. Trade. And then they lose. We untap. Draw planes. Go to combat. Attack for lethal. Nice. Opponent was giving us the opportunity to misclick, I suppose. Alright, game 3. Do we make any adjustments knowing what our opponent is playing? I don't think so. I don't think we can get around the freaking Mind Rot, man. Every time it's just hit incredible spells. Alright, I don't think this hand is actually... it might be keepable. I'll try it. If we draw red mana, we're great. Opponent kept 7, leads on Forest. We draw a Rip Apart, which is not red mana. Play a Plains, pass the turn. Opponent untaps, plays a Swamp. We draw Stormkiln Artist, which is not red mana. Play Thunderous Orator. Pass the turn. Opponent have Lash? Nope. Okay. They play a Swamp. 3 mana. Silverquill Pledge Mage. We untap. We draw not a red land. Go to combat. Attack for 2. Triggers. Opponent does not trade. And we pass. We basically have to blank removal here with this Beaming Defiance and then draw red mana. Okay, opponent plays a Swamp. Umbral Juke, which targets us, not our creature, so Beaming Defiance doesn't do anything. They're going to give that lifelink. Yep, we lose our guy. We need red mana right now. Mountain. We draw Mountain. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Play the Mountain, Rip Apart. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Swamp. They got nothing. That tells me they probably have a handful of reactive spells. Play Tome Shredder. Pass the turn. Mortality Spear. Okay. That's pretty premium removal for them to use there, so I'm kind of okay with that. They play a land. We untap. Alright, land please. That sort of works too. Play Stonerise Spirit. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They duress us. They get to see a fistful of cards with 2 more Rip Aparts in it. They take Beaming Defiance. I guess that's fair. Then they pass. We untap. We draw Illustrious Historian. Go to combat. Attack for 1. Take them to 20. I'm going to play Illustrious Historian now, because board presence seems important. They're going to go blank us. I think we keep the Enthusiastic Studies, so let's get rid of a Stormkiln Artist and a Rip Apart, despite those being really good cards. We need the card advantage here. Opponent passes. The problem is that they have that Lash spell right now. Make Your Mark is kind of nice. Go to combat. Attack for 3. I'm going to go for it. The potential to get blown out does exist, but we need to get Environmental Sciences so I can draw land. Opponent Tangle Traps the Stone Rise Spirit. Opponent must not be top decking cards that are too great if they're taking this long to determine their plays. They know what's in our hand, mostly. They play Lizette. We untap. Draw planes. Play planes. Go to combat. And attack for 2. No blocks. We hit them for 2. Then let's Environmental Sciences, and we'll get a second mountain here. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent untaps. They draw. They play a land, Essence Infusion. So they're going to gain a bunch of life this turn. And they're going to make Lizette quite large, because her own ability will trigger. It's a pretty big life point swing, but nothing we can really do about that. Okay, opponent pays 1. Makes her bigger. Unless we draw swords, I don't think we can actually answer that. Which is pretty bad. We untap. Opponent is almost out of cards, though. We draw Flame Scroll Celebrant. Play a mountain. Go to combat. Hit them for 2. Take them to 17. Play the Celebrant. Pass the turn. So now if they scry with the Campus, they're actually going to take damage. They untap and draw. How big is she? Is it 7/7? Okay. They attack us for 7. Sure, we'll take it. Go to 6. We'll probably be blocking with the Illustrious Historian next turn. Okay. We untap. We draw a mountain. Play a mountain. Go to combat. Attack with Flame Scroll Celebrant. Enthusiastic Study. Let's get... probably Elemental Summoning. Expanded Anatomy is tempting, but because of how we're going to be using our mana, let's pump him this way as well. Deal a bunch of damage. Pass the turn. So the plan here is chump and Make Your Mark. They scry and take a damage. Opponent untaps. This is very, very close right now. They draw. Oh no! It's when it dies, not when it gets exiled. Once again, Rise of Exodus, most overpowered card in the set for limited. By far. And we just died to Lizette. We had no way to answer her. Sure. That's really disappointing. That was a super long match, and we were very close to winning. Top decking a mountain. Yeah. See you guys in round 3. Alright, welcome back to round 3. And I think this is good enough to keep. We have a creature and a combat trick that we can play. One land gets us to Twin Scroll Shaman. It can be any land. We untap, draw Rip Apart, play a mountain, pass the turn. They opt. Okay. They're probably Quandrix, but they could be Prismari. Opponent untaps. They have more cards in deck than we do. I don't think they mulliganed. Play Needlethorn Drake. We untap. Draw a mountain. Play a mountain. Play a Flame Scroll Celebrant. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play an island. They play a Frost Trickster. They attack us for 1. Alright. So next turn we're probably playing Twin Scroll Shaman. I could see a realm where we play Venerable Warsinger. But we didn't draw white. So Twin Scroll Shaman it is. Pass the turn. Opponent plays the black-green tap land and a Vortex Runner. They attack for 3 in the air. Okay. We untap. We draw planes. That's kind of a big deal. Play planes. Rip apart the Vortex Runner. Go to combat. Attack for 4. We'll save Make Your Mark for removal of some kind. I could have pumped the Flame Scroll Celebrant there and dealt 2 more damage, but I think having access to Make Your Mark's more important. Okay, they play Archway Commons, because they are playing a 3-color deck. Then they play something. Blood Researcher? Blood Researcher, okay. That makes sense. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks for 3, they're staying aggressive. Alright, you got it. Take 3, go to 13. We untap. Draw Stormkiln Artist. Go to combat. Swing out. Opponent no blocks. I think we play Venerable Warsinger here. Stormkiln Artist potentially represents a lot more damage. I'm actually going to Enthusiastic... Nah, okay. We're just going to do 4, take them to 12, and play Venerable Warsinger. Okay, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Black, black, blue, green. Mage Hunter's Onslaught. So let's make your mark. We get a 3-2. We can't block anything they attack with, but we can swing back huge. Okay, no blocks. Take 5, go to 8. Untap. We draw Beaming Defiance. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have Lethal. If they have no tricks, they only have 1 card left in hand. So we just gotta go for it. Can we play around it with Beaming Defiance? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, we can't. Okay. Go to combat. Swing out. And Enthusiastic Study. Get Expanded Anatomy. And we got there. Nice. Alright, no adjustments. I think we run it back. I feel like the swing all out may have been a little bit loose for our opponent to do. This hand seems fine. Professor of Symbology. If we don't draw a mountain before we play it, we'll get the Environmental Sciences. If we do draw a mountain, we'll probably get Expanded Anatomy. We draw Beaming Defiance, play a Plains, pass the turn. Opponent's going to opt. Or not. There was no reason to reveal the fact that you had a forest to me. Okay. They pass. We draw. Rip apart. Play a Plains, play the Professor. Okay. Let's get Environmental Sciences, pass the turn. Opponent opts, because apparently they forgot to last turn. They untap, they play a Swamp, then they pass. Okay, they play Needlethorn Drake. We untap, we draw Quintorius, Field Historian. So let's Environmental Science, get a mountain, play it, pass the turn. No real reason to attack here. Opponent untaps. I think we should focus on building a board and then using like Rip Apart when we're going to swing. Opponent plays a land and passes. We untap, draw Plains, play Plains, and play Stormkiln Artist. Opponent has Reject, that's fine. Gets exiled. Yeah, no attacks. Pass the turn. I guess maybe we should be attacking if we're worried about a fight spell on a big creature. Opponent plays a Swamp, 5 mana, Karok Wrangler. Okay. So, I'd like to draw another mountain here. They attack us for 1. This is a 3/3. Yeah, so that's getting ripped apart. We untap. Draw mountain, there we go. Play the mountain. Rip apart the Karok Wrangler. Play Stonebound Mentor. Go to combat. Attack for 2. They go to 18. They untap. They play a Swamp. They play Quandrix Cultivator, which is a 3/4 that ramps forests or islands. And they get the card untapped too. I didn't know that. Alright, we untap. We draw Stormkiln Artist. Play Tome Shredder. Pass the turn. I'm going to leave up Beaming Defiance in case they do have that Mage Hunter's Onslaught card. We're going to Tome Shredder to get rid of Environmental Science. Opponent untaps. They play an island. Blue-green, they play Zimone. Okay. And they pass. So we get to exile Environmental Science, and we get to scry. Plains to the bottom, I think. Counter there. We untap. Draw Plains anyway. Play the Plains. I think let's just play Quintorius. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent gets the draw. They play Vortex Runner, which already can't be blocked. Okay, I'm going to go for this here. We get to scry. Swords to Plowshares on top. Definitely want that card. Make a Spirit. Counter on the Shredder. We untap. Draw swords. Play Stormkiln Artist. Swords. The Drake. Make a treasure token. Opponent Village Rights to draw cards. Okay. Well, at least they don't gain life. I'm going to go ahead and make another Spirit immediately here. We get to scry. Make another Spirit. Stonerise Spirit to the bottom. 1/1 counter on the Shredder. Go to combat. Attack here and attack here. Opponent blocks and takes the rest. 4 mana. Probably just drawing a card with Zimone. Okay, they draw a couple cards. Sure, they take some damage. Pass the turn. If we could get Mavinda, that'd be awesome. Opponent draws. Mage Hunter's Onslaught, so let's blank that removal. Make a treasure. So they have to have even better instant speed removal or a counter spell, and they don't. So that gets countered. Alright, opponent plays Frost Trickster. They tap Tome Shredder, so we can't make a Spirit for a turn. And they're, what, gonna hit us for 3 unblocked? No? Alright. They just scoop. They can't handle that sort of pressure. Quintorius is so powerful. Like, just the repeated value is just incredible. That was very close to a 3-0, so I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though the last few have been earlier than that. And yeah, you're all wonderful human beings. Thank you so much for watching. Bye! Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to my patrons for the month of May. If you want to support my channel directly and have your name show up in this list, there's a link to my Patreon in the description down below. Thank you all.